Hello and welcome to the English podcast with Ayesh. Here, we practice English together, slowly, clearly, and step by step. Let's learn and grow your English today.
Sure.
Have you ever had that nightmare? You know, the one I'm talking about.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
in a room, maybe it's a classroom or a big meeting, and suddenly everything goes quiet. Someone looks at you, they ask a question, and you freeze.
It's the worst feeling. It's so physical, isn't it? Your throat just tightens up.
It does. And the crazy part is, it's not that your brain is empty. You have thoughts. You might even know the answer.
Yeah.
But the bridge between your brain and your mouth just collapses.
It's gone.
You don't have the right words to buy time or to ask for help. So you just sit there in that awful stretching silence.
It is the classic language learner's anxiety. But really, it happens to everyone. Even in your own language, when the pressure's on, you feel locked inside your own head.
Right.
And, when we try to fix that, we usually grab the wrong tools. We think, oh, I need to memorize more vocabulary.
Exactly. We think if we just pack more data onto the hard drive, it'll just work.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't access it in that moment of panic.
You can't. And often the solution isn't some fancy technical term. It's a simple structural tool. It's about having a safety net that you can just deploy without even thinking.
And that is exactly why I'm so fascinated. It's a guide called Essential English Sentences for Students.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest, when I first saw it, I was a little skeptical. I thought, really, this is it. It's a list of just 10 sentences.
It looks so simple, doesn't it? Almost like a poster you'd see in a first-grade classroom.
It really does. But our mission today is to dig in and figure out why this specific list works. We want to unpack the psychology behind them. Because this isn't just a phrase book. It's a toolkit for agency.
Agency is the perfect word. These sentences are designed to flip a switch. They can take you from being a passive listener, just nodding and hoping you get it, to being a really active participant.
So let's get into it. The first 3 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
And they tackle that exact fear we just talked about, the fear of being completely lost.
Okay.
The first one is so blunt, so simple. For some people, it's terrifying to say. I don't understand.
It is blunt, but it calls it perfect when something is not clear. And I think we need to stop on that word perfect, because what's the normal human instinct when you get lost?
Oh, the smile and nod. The nod of shame.
The smile and nod, you just keep that rhythm going.
I have done this so many times. You just keep nodding, hoping that a word you recognize will fly by, a name, a date, anything, and you can sort of piece it together.
Exactly. You're playing detective in your own head while pretending you know what's going on.
Yeah.
But it's a trap, because 5 minutes later, you're even deeper in the hole.
Yeah.
It's way too late to admit you didn't get the first part. You're committed to the lie, saying, I don't understand, just. It stops the train.
But isn't there a fear there? I mean, if I say that in an interview, it feels like admitting defeat. Like I'm saying, I'm not smart enough for this.
That's the fear, for sure. We equate not understanding with not being intelligent. Implies the opposite. It suggests that saying this is actually a sign of integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah. It tells the other person that communication is broken down. It solves the problem immediately instead of wasting 10 more minutes. It shows you actually care about understanding, not just about the appearance of competence.
That's a huge distinction, the appearance of competence. The person who fakes it leaves with nothing, but the person who asks actually learns.
Exactly. And let's move to the second one in this group. This is for when you almost got it. Sentence number 2 is, can you please repeat that?
Okay, it's a very specific point here. It says this phrase sounds polite and confident.
Mm-hmm.
See, confident is the word that jumped out at me. I always feel like I'm being annoying if I ask someone to repeat themselves, like I'm slowing things down.
I think that's such a common feeling. But let's flip it. If you're explaining something to me, something you care about, and I ask you to repeat a point, what am I actually telling you?
I guess. You're telling me you're really trying to follow, that you're paying attention.
Yes. You're telling me that what I said was valuable enough that you want to get it right. If you didn't care, you just let it go. So asking for repetition is actually a sign of high engagement. It's almost a compliment.
That is a great way to reframe it. You're not saying I'm slow. You're saying this is important.
Right. And then there's the third one in this little group, the classroom classic. What does this mean?
Simple enough.
Yes. It's used in class or while studying, but I think of it as the curiosity engine. You can't learn if you don't ask what things mean. And it changes the dynamic from a lecture into 2 people solving a puzzle.
I like that. So these 3 sentences, I don't understand. Can you repeat that? And what does this mean? They're your safety net. You can't get left behind.
You always have a way back into the conversation.
Okay, so let's move on to the next set. Sentences 4, 5, and 6.
This is a bit of a shift, I think. We're moving from I didn't get the information to something more internal. This is about vulnerability and attitude.
Yeah, this is about what you do when you're on the spot and you just don't have the answer. Sentence 4 is, I'm not sure.
I love this one. That as honest and natural.
Natural. That word keeps coming up. Why is natural the goal here?
Because I think learners often try to be robots. They think they need to give a perfect instant answer. But think about how native speakers talk. We don't always know. We go, honestly, I'm not sure.
Right. If you ask me where I want to get dinner, I don't just say Thai. I say, oh, I'm not sure. What are you feeling?
Exactly. Trying to bluff your way through an answer just sounds awkward. It can break trust. But saying, I'm not sure is authentic. It makes you human.
It builds credibility, too.
Yeah.
If you tell me when you're not sure, I'm going to believe you more when you tell me you are sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. It shows you know your own limits, which is a sign of intelligence. And it leads perfectly into sentence number 5, which is the really motivational one. I'll try my best.
Excited about this one. It says, quote, teachers love this sentence.
They really do. And as someone who spent time in education, I can tell you that's 100% true.
So why? What is it about that phrase?
Effort, confidence, and a positive attitude. In school or in a job, perfection is often less important than resilience.
Resilience. That's interesting.
Think about it. If I ask you to do something hard and you just say, I can't, well, that's a dead end. Conversation over. But I'll try my best. Shifts the focus from the result to the process. It says, I am willing to engage with this, even if I might fail.
It's a growth mindset phrase.
Yeah.
It gives you permission to make mistakes because you've committed to the effort, not a perfect outcome.
Exactly, which is so important for language learning because you are going to make mistakes. And that brings us to sentence number 6, for when trying your best isn't quite enough. Could you help me?
The one that's so hard for adults to say.
So hard.
We hate asking for help. It feels like we're failing.
It does. It feels like a step backward, like we're kids again. Frames this as just polite and very useful. It's about overcoming that hesitation.
Okay.
And if you think about it, asking for help isn't admitting defeat. It's a collaborative tool. It turns your solo struggle into a team effort.
It's not I failed, it's let's solve this together.
Precisely. And people generally like to help. It makes them feel useful. You're giving them a chance to be the expert. It actually builds the relationship.
That's a great point. So we've covered getting information and we've covered admitting what we don't know. Now the Thor shifts into what I see as the social glue of the list. Sentences 7, 8, and 9 are all about engagement.
Right. This is where you stop just surviving and start actually contributing.
Sentence 7 is, I have a question.
Simple but powerful.
Powerful. I love that. Why is it powerful? It's just 4 words.
It's about the mechanics of a conversation. Think of a busy meeting. People are talking over each other. If you just launch into your thought, you might get cut off.
Or nobody even hears the first half of your sentence.
Exactly. But saying, I have a question, is like planting a flag. It says, hold on, I'm about to take the floor. It commands attention and creates space for you to speak.
It's assertive, but polite. You're announcing your turn.
And it secures everyone's attention before you have to do the hard work of forming the question itself. It's a brilliant little trick.
It is. Okay, and once you're in the discussion, you need to relate to people. Which brings us to sentence 8. I agree with you.
Respect for others' opinions. This is so important for group work.
It seems so basic, though.
Yeah.
I agree. Is that really a sentence we need to practice?
I think we do, because learners often forget the power of validation. If you just sit there silently while someone else makes a point you agree with, you're invisible. You're just furniture in the room.
A body in a chair.
Yeah. By saying, I agree with you, you're validating them. You're building rapport. You instantly make that person an ally. It's a huge social win for very little effort.
It's low cost, high reward. You get on the scoreboard without much risk.
Exactly. And that validation continues with sentence 9. That makes
First notice this one sounds very natural in conversation.
It really does. That makes sense. Is like the verbal signal of a light bulb turning on over your head.
Yeah.
It tells the speaker that their message landed, that you processed the logic.
Right. It closes the loop for them.
Yes, and there's a subtle difference. I understand is about me, my comprehension, but that makes sense is about the idea itself. It validates their logic. It's a little more sophisticated.
I've never thought of that distinction. These 3, I have a question. I agree. That makes sense. They make you a good conversational partner.
They're what linguists call discourse markers. They grease the wheels of conversation. If you don't use them, you can seem cold or checked out, even if you're listening really hard.
Okay, so we've clarified, we've been honest, we've engaged,
Yeah.
but sometimes your brain just buffers. You know, the silence gets loud.
The pressure cooker.
Exactly. And that's where the final tool comes in. Sentence 10. The strategic pause. I need some time.
Go lifesaver.
This feels like it connects all the way back to the confidence theme.
It absolutely does. I need some time is a boundary.
A boundary? How so?
Well, when you're put on the spot, you feel rushed. You feel like you have to answer right now, or you look stupid. You panic. And when you panic, your brain literally doesn't work as well.
So saying this just buys you some mental space.
It allows you to control the pace. You're saying, I will answer, but on my timeline. It stops that panic spiral. You're taking back control.
That's incredibly empowering.
Yeah.
You're not letting the silence be awkward. You're labeling it as thinking time.
And it signals maturity. It says, I want to give you a good answer, not just a fast one. People actually respect that.
So when you look at this whole list of 10 sentences, it's not random at all. It's a complete ecosystem.
It really is a true survival kit. You have tools for when the input is bad, I don't understand. Tools for when your output is hard, I'll try my best. Tools for connection, I agree. And tools for your own regulation, I need some time.
It covers all the bases. Important. It says, practice them daily, and your English will improve step by step.
That step-by-step part is key. You don't get fluent overnight. You build these little communication bridges, and the more you use them, the stronger they get.
Right. And, this keeps emphasizing that these are simple and natural sentences.
They are.
And I think that raises a really interesting question. We often equate fluency with complexity. We think we have to use big words and fancy grammar to sound smart.
We want to impress people.
Yeah. But looking at this list, I'm struck by how simple these phrases are. I'm not sure. I agree.
So the provocative thought I kind of want to leave our listeners with is this. Is complexity actually the enemy of fluency?
That's a huge question.
Maybe the mark of a real expert isn't using the biggest word in the dictionary. Maybe it's having the confidence to use the simple ones effectively. Because if you can confidently say, I don't understand, you're navigating the world a lot better than someone who knows 1,000 fancy words but is too afraid to admit they're lost.
That's a fantastic point. The person who says, I don't understand, gets the explanation. The person who stays silent gets nothing. Real fluency is about connection.
Exactly. These sentences unlock the door so you can walk through it, and that's where the real learning starts.
Well, I think that's a perfect place to end our deep. It's a great reminder that sometimes the simplest tools are the most powerful.
It's always good to be reminded that the basics work for a reason.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everyone. Go out there, ask questions, and take the time you need. We'll see you on the